Dexter's Lab is one of the highest-rated original cartoons out there. It's about a genius kid called Dexter and his lab experiments and inventions. It consists of 4 seasons and a total of 78 episodes. In this video, I'll explain and summarize the cartoon from beginning to end. And without any further delay, bring some snacks because this is going to be a long video, and let's get into it. Dexter's Lab background. Dexter's mom and dad meet when they were at the doctor's appointment. Dad was a lousy, smelly guy, and she was grossed out upon seeing him because she was a germaphobe. The doctor suggests that for her to get healed, she needs to interact with him. She fails her test and confesses to Dad that, despite him being cool, he's too dirty for her to even take the first steps in the healing process. On New Year's Eve, Dad takes it upon himself, gets a makeover, and invites her to a dancing competition, which they win and kiss with her glove on. This whole situation explains why she never takes them off. Years pass, the couple is married, and Dexter is born in Genius Grove Hospital, bringing joy to his parents until the dad discovers that Dexter has an unusually large head. Eventually, the doctors conducted studies and determined that Dexter's large head was due to his genius intellect. This happy news brought happiness and pride to Dexter's parents. In honor of his genius, the doctor gave Dexter glasses, and his parents took him home to meet his sister Dee Dee, who unintentionally tormented him. As Dexter grew and began to crawl, he quickly developed his skills, building his first invention and immersing himself in studying technology. However, Dee Dee continued to disrupt and destroy his creations. This pattern persisted until Dexter turned 7 years old. Then, he discovers a secret and undiscovered place in his house and transforms it into his secret laboratory. One day, while Dexter was in his lab, Dee Dee ventured into his room and stumbled upon the bookshelf that concealed the entrance to his lab. She pulled out a book and uncovered Dexter's Lab for the first time. Since then, Dee Dee has constantly annoyed Dexter in his laboratory adventures. Now, let's head to the main characters of the show. Dee Dee is Dexter's older sister. Throughout the series, Dee Dee is mostly seen destroying or ruining Dexter's lab in various ways, and her appearance revolves around her relationship with him. Despite her usual ignorance and incredible stupidity, Dee Dee is a very wise girl for her age who displays far better common sense than her brother and less naivety about subjects that Dexter is completely ignorant about. She also has a great imagination that can bring any imaginary creatures to life and is Mondarch's crush. Mom. She's an everyday house mom, hence why she's mostly seen busy keeping things clean around the house. Normally, she's shown to be just as unintelligent as Dad, but she's smarter than him. However, being a stereotypical housewife doesn't prevent that most of Dexter's personality comes from her, including her perfectionist streaks, intelligence, and penchant for dramatics. Dad loves golf and fishing and has an unnatural affinity for his wife's muffins. He can be a bully, embarrassing, and pulling childish pranks on his family for his enjoyment. Susan Mandark Astronomanov is the main antagonist in Dexter's laboratory. He's Dexter's rival and later mortal nemesis who often seeks to destroy both Dexter and his lab to prove once and for all that he is the superior genius. When first introduced, Mandark was leagues ahead of Dexter in terms of knowledge and accomplishments, but after having his lab and heart destroyed by Dexter and Dee Dee, his scientific skills became far less impressive than Dexter's. However, there is another side to Mandark's personality. Mandark has been completely enamored with Dee Dee to the point of obsession. Despite this, Dee Dee has shown no interest in him and at times seems to outright hate him. Mandark's love for her remained unchanged. Now let's start with what matters. So Dexter invents a device each day while Dee Dee tries to ruin things for him, and after she does that, they go on an adventure to put things back in order. Like the time when Dexter falls victim to one of his own inventions and sends Dee Dee back in time to warn his past self about the consequences, or when Dee Dee proves to be more intelligent than Dexter after Dexter performed a brain transplant on her to make her smart. Many adventures happen until a new character is introduced. On Dexter's first day of school, he's welcomed back as the star pupil by his teachers and fellow students. However, a new student named Mandark arrives and proves to be even smarter than him. After school, Mandark reveals that he knows about Dexter's secret laboratory, so Dexter shows him his lab. However, to his surprise, Mandark unveils his own lab which is much larger and more impressive. It becomes clear that Mandark is intellectually superior to Dexter, so Dexter now either becomes Mandark's lackey or shuts down his lab. Feeling defeated, Dexter decides to shut down his lab and discontinue any future experiments. At school, Mandark took all the spotlight. Later, Mandark falls in love with Dee Dee and asks Dexter for a date with her, so Dexter sees this as an opportunity for revenge and agrees, knowing that Dee Dee's destructive nature will wreak havoc on Mandark's lab. Dexter sets up a trail of candy leading from Dee Dee's room to Mandark's house, and Dee Dee follows it, eventually arriving at Mandark's lab. In her clumsy manner, she unintentionally destroys everything in the lab while attempting to dance with Mandark, while Dexter watches the chaos unfold from his reactivated lab as he continues his experiments once again. A short time after their initial encounter, Dexter announces his participation in the town science fair at school and gets praise from everyone, while Mandark calls out everyone for their admiration of Dexter, reminding them of how Dexter had destroyed his lab and manipulated his feelings for his sister. Dexter and his classmates are watching a documentary on Mount Rushmore. During the documentary, the topic of bringing the presidential sculptures to life is brought up by Timothy. Dexter discusses the possibility of using tripolar Frankensteinian electrodes to animate the sculptures and cause havoc and destruction. Little did Dexter know that Mandark was secretly planning to use his knowledge for his own purposes. The next day, Dexter's home gets smashed by a giant stone axe wielded by the now living statue of George Washington, which is being controlled by Mandark. So Dexter decides to travel to Mount Rushmore to bring his own sculpture to life. Meanwhile, Mandark celebrates his victory. However, Dexter returns with the statue of Abraham Lincoln, and the two boys and their statues engage in an epic battle. Eventually, the statues decide to end the battle, go off to enjoy a meal of bricks, and leave Dexter and Mandark frustrated. During a later stage of his childhood, and in one of the most fun episodes, Dexter unintentionally releases the monster known as Dexter, and to combat it, Dexter has no choice but to reveal his secret laboratory to his parents, seeking their assistance along with his sister Dee Dee. Together, they piloted the Multiformic Megabot, Dexter's most powerful fighting robot. Initially, Dexter and his family are outmatched by Dexter's overwhelming strength. However, through the power of unity and by joining forces with Monkey, they're ultimately able to defeat the monstrous creature. Dexter used his memory eraser ray to erase any recollection of it from his parents' minds. Monkey then employs the same device on Dexter, causing him to forget Monkey's true identity, as well as his own heroic actions, leading to Mandark wrongfully taking credit for the victory. One day, everything changed when Dexter created his most powerful invention yet, the neuroatomic protocore. This revolutionary device can change the world forever. Unfortunately, Mandark transforms from a mere opponent into a full-blown evil arch-enemy and becomes obsessed with stealing Dexter's creation and crushing him to achieve his goal of world domination. Their once comedic and destructive rivalry turned into a hatred and deadly force. Despite Mandark's relentless attempts, he's never able to obtain the neuroatomic protocore during their childhood. During this time, Dexter faces another challenge when he's attacked by a group of robots who believe he is the one who saved the future. To understand how he saved the future, Dexter destroys the robots and used his time machine to travel forward in time. Several years later, Dexter and Mandark, now teenagers, found themselves working at a prominent global corporation known simply as the Corporation. As research scientists, their task was to generate innovative ideas to shape a better future. During their time at the Corporation, Dexter proved to be an exceptionally creative individual, constantly generating new and brilliant ideas. In contrast, Mandark struggles with a creative block, unable to match Dexter's ingenuity, so he resorts to stealing Dexter's ideas and presenting them as his own to the executives at the Corporation. This allows Mandark to climb the corporate ladder swiftly and eventually overthrow the company heads, seizing control of the entire organization. As a result, Mandark became the richest and most powerful individual on the planet. During this period, the world undergoes significant technological advancements and social transformations. As part of these changes, people's names are replaced with ID numbers, stripping them of their individual identities. Under Executive Mandark's rule, Those who work directly under him are treated as mere work slaves, compelled to obey his every whim under the threat of physical punishment. Even Dexter, despite his previous brilliance, could not escape this fate. He was assigned the rank of number 12 and subjected to Mandark's regular torture. Over time, these tormenting experiences took a toll on Dexter, transforming him into a bumbling and cowardly version of his former self. Despite his revenge on Dexter, Mandark had not yet succeeded in locating the long-lost neuratomic protocore. Unbeknownst to Dexter and Mandark, a younger version of Dexter, known as Number 12, travels forward in time to witness his future self and see how cool he has become, believing that he has saved the future. However, upon arriving in the future, Number 12 finds himself in his own house, which is now occupied by strangers who promptly report him to the police. The authorities plan to imprison him and force him into hard labor. Fortunately, Dexter manages to evade the police, but his escape is short-lived as he encounters a robot that recognizes him as Number 12. It was at this moment that Dexter realized the robot was referring to his future self. Dexter then allows the robot to take him to what he believed was his corporation. However, upon meeting his future self, Dexter is greatly disappointed. He proceeds to remind his older self of his past identity as Dexter, Boy Genius, and successfully convinces Number 12 to join forces with him in overthrowing Mandark. With a renewed sense of confidence, Number 12 retrieves his cherished gloves, which house the long-hidden neuratomic protocore from a secret compartment, and together with Dexter, he escapes from his job and embarks on a journey through time to meet their older selves, hoping to uncover the truth about their heroic actions and how they saved the future. However, and unintentionally, Number 12 had inadvertently left his neuratomic protocore exposed, allowing Executive Mandark to seize control of it. Upon their arrival in the distant future, Number 12 and Dexter find themselves inside a museum dedicated to them. To their surprise, they stumble upon Mandark, or what remained of him, now known as Brain Dark. It appears that Mandark had lost his physical form some time ago under mysterious circumstances and had been imprisoned in the museum ever since. The museum's curator quickly recognizes Number 12 and Dexter as their younger selves, the great leader Dexter. This encounter leads to their discovery of a remarkable place called Dextopia, Dexter's utopian future kingdom, where the inhabitants enjoy happiness, good health, and convenient access to advanced technology. The curator guides Dexter and Number 12 to the palace of their older self, where they're greeted by a powerful voice, which turns out to belong to their frail future self, Old Man Dexter, who cannot remember how he had saved the future. The trio decide to travel back in time once more to meet their middle-aged self and uncover the truth. Upon arriving, Dexter, Number 12, and the curator are met with a destroyed lab. To make matters worse, the world around them had transformed into a desolate and devastated red wasteland. Then the trio stumbles upon a village inhabited by individuals referred to as idiots, and young Dexter tries to provide them with fire, but their efforts are swiftly thwarted by a legion of robots known as the Overlord's Machine Men. However, just when all hope seems lost, a mysterious and powerful hero emerges, subdues the robots, and saves the village. The Dexters soon realize that the mighty hero who had saved the village was none other than their middle-aged self known as Action Dexter. According to him, when Number 12 returned from his journey with his past and future selves, he discovered that his neuratomic protocore had been stolen by Mandark. Number 12 had inadvertently left the core unattended before leaving with Dexter in the time machine. Mandark inadvertently set its flow to negative, which had a profound effect on his already twisted mind. The negative energy transformed Mandark into an evil and power-hungry being. With the means to enslave the earth, Mandark seized and became the supreme ruler of the world. Then, Number 12 sought refuge underground. Meanwhile, on the surface, the negative energies from the core caused the inhabitants to become dim-witted idiots. When he resurfaced after years of intense digging and physical labor, he had transformed into a powerful and muscular figure, and he was shocked to find the state of the world. Determined to fight against Overlord Mandark's rule, Number 12 began battling the Overlord's robots. After the story, the Dexters decide to put an end to Overlord Mandark's evil reign once and for all. But first, they have to reclaim the near-atomic protocore so they construct this ultimate robot that would allow them to storm Mandark's castle and retrieve the core. Later, they arrive at Mandark's castle and swiftly engage in combat with his army of robots, and Overlord Mandark is now alerted to their presence. The Dexters manage to overcome the castle's defenses and reach Mandark's chamber. The young Dexter and Mandark engaged in a childish exchange of fisticuffs. Executive Mandark easily overpowered Number 12, Dexter taking advantage of his weak insecurities. Overlord Mandark and Action Dexter exchanged heavy blows, showcasing their strength and determination. Meanwhile, Braindark and Old Man Dexter engaged in a battle of petty insults. As the Dexters struggle to reach the button, suddenly, a time-traveling Dee emerges from Dexter's time machine, which was attached to the broken mecha, and swiftly maneuvers past both the Dexters and Mandarks. As Dee passed by, the Mandarks briefly revert to their old selves and become infatuated with her. Dee notices the positive flow button and, driven by her innate curiosity, pushes it. This unexpected action results in her saving the future. With the positive flow restored, the world regains its green and vibrant appearance, and humans regain their intelligence. The Mandarks were sent back to their own time, while Overlord Mandark met a fiery demise, leaving only his brain behind, transforming him into Braindark, and Mandark's castle crumbled. However, the Dexters are filled with anger and disappointment upon realizing that Dee is the one who ultimately saved the future, stealing the glory from them. In their frustration, the Dexters quickly devise transforming robots to go back in time to destroy Dee for ruining their adventure. After the defeat of Mandark, Action Dexter makes a solemn vow to utilize the near-atomic protocore for the betterment of humanity. Following this declaration, all the different versions of Dexter return to their respective timelines, bidding each other farewell. Action Dexter takes it upon himself to locate Mandark's brain and places it in a jar equipped with a communicator. This would serve as Mandark's punishment for his crimes, confining him to a life of isolation. Meanwhile, Action Dexter begins the construction of a new civilization called Dextopia. Upon returning to his own time, young Dexter witnesses his past self engaged in a battle against the very robots he had created to destroy the one who saved the future, unaware that it was Dee. This caused him great confusion due to the time anomalies. However, young Dexter chooses to put the confusion aside and decides to focus on more immediate matters, like enjoying a sandwich. As time went on, Dexter continues to live his life, experiencing different phases, such as being the downtrodden Number 12 and the heroic Action Dexter. Eventually, he becomes the elderly ruler of Dextopia, known as Old Man Dexter. In his golden years, he ruled the world alongside his sister, Old Gal Dee. This was everything. We hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in another one.